Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Let's get started and look into the first article. The first article says, has the anti-defection law failed in India? The article here is speaking about the loopholes that are existing in this anti-defection law. What is this anti-defection law will not be discussed because we have discussed about the anti-defection law in the past 1 week. What is the Maharashtra political crisis will not be discussed because this was discussed on big news as well. But our main intention with respect to this article will be primarily focusing on the loopholes that are existing in the anti-defection law, the issues and concerns with respect to this law, how political parties are using this law for their own benefits, and ultimately it goes on to prove that this whole law has failed in serving justice to the original intention of the legislators. Let us try and understand what are the loopholes that are existing in this law. When we speak about this law, the law contemplates two kinds of defection. One, by a member voluntarily giving up membership of the party on whose symbol he got elected. Second, by a member violating a direction whip issued by the party to vote in a particular way or abstain from voting. Let's discuss about the first point a bit later. What we are currently focusing is on the second point. What is the second point? Who is this party whip? This is the responsibility given to one of the persons in that political party. So this person will ensure that all the members of that political party vote in a predetermined manner. If there is any person who does not listen to the party whip, violates and votes in contradiction to the party whip, then suitable action may be issued by the party whip. So this basically means that they will be asked to vote in a particular direction. They may be asked to vote not in a particular direction. So these persons belonging to this political party will have to listen to the party whip, that is the person appointed so by the political party. If they violate it, it means that the anti-defection law will immediately step in. That is the second part. The first part says by a member voluntarily giving up his membership. Now the question is, what is this voluntarily giving up the membership? We have one of the important judgments given by the Supreme Court of India in the Ravi Nayak versus the Union of India. This happened in the 1994. What does this say? The words voluntarily given up his membership are not synonymous with resignation and have a wider connotation. A person may voluntarily give up his membership of a political party even though he has not tendered his resignation from the membership of that party. Even in the absence of a formal resignation from the membership, an inference can be drawn from the conduct of a member that he has voluntarily given up his membership of the political party to which he belongs. What does this mean? This basically means, let's assume for a moment there is a person who is in BJP or there is a person who is in Congress. This person has not officially resigned from the party, but this person goes on to conduct his activities in such a way that he is indirectly working against the party. So he would give statements against the party. The party might have advised him not to go with members of another political party, but this person goes to the meetings of another political party. The party whip would have issued certain directions, but this person does not cater to those directions. He instead goes and follows to the directions of another political party. So what this directly means is he might have explicitly given resignation to the political party, that is one, but he might not be giving the resignation, but he is in the same political party but acts in the direction contrary to the directions issued by the existing political party. So the home political party in that particular case believes that this person is acting contrary to the directions of the party, which is where the Supreme Court clearly goes on to say, even if the person has not resigned but is acting in contrary to the existing political party, such person can also be understood as a person who has defected to a new political party. So voluntarily giving up the membership does not mean that the legislator has formally resigned, but instead you can take an inference because of the member's conduct or the activities. So this article currently goes on to say that this very premise of voluntarily giving up the membership is the first major loophole in the anti-defection law, where the person may exist in the same political party where he was given the ticket, but in spite of it his loyalty is light with another political party. This is the first major concern. The second major loophole is in terms of the merger. What is this merger? We have 10 schedule. It says disqualification on ground of defection not to apply in case of merger. So if a political party merges with another political party where you have not less than 2/3 of the members of the legislature who actually go ahead and merge with another political party, such people who would have merged with another political party, such people will not be disqualified. Let me explain this with the help of an example. Let's take the example of what happened in Goa. There were about 15 people who were elected on the Congress ticket. Out of these 15 people, 10 defected to BJP. So what we have is the 2/3 majority or the merger that has to be taken into picture. If we consider the 2/3 majority, we have 15 people, 2/3 of 15 will be about 10 people. So these 10 people move to the BJP. So it means the number of MLAs required to merge is about 2/3, which means 10 people have now moved to BJP. So there is merger, says the first interpretation. So according to this interpretation of the merger, it basically goes on to say if the number of MLAs who are selected out of the whole number of MLAs, if 2/3 move to the other political party, it is considered merger and such people will not be disqualified, is the first interpretation. The second interpretation also says that this interpretation that we are currently doing is wrong, because when we speak about merger, it is not about the MLAs who move from one political party to another. Instead, it is the merger of the political party in itself. Let me give you an example. Back in the year 2011, we have one of the renowned Telugu actors called as Chiranjeevi. Chiranjeevi sir went on to merge his political party Praja Rajyam with Congress. So what happened? This entire political party Praja Rajyam was merged with Congress. So what you have is merger of one political party with another political party. So in the first case, it is only the legislators, that is the MLAs, who moved from one political party to another. This is not called the merger, but there is another interpretation which says that if merger has to take place, it is not about people, it is about the political party. The entire political party should be merged with the other party. That is when the 2/3 numbers will have to be taken into picture. So there is a dilemma. In the Goa's case, we have the Bombay High Court which said that since the MLAs about 2/3 moved to BJP, they need not be disqualified. But there is a case right now in Supreme Court where the Goa Congress has appealed that it is not about the legislators, but it is about the political party. Since the political party did not merge, it means that this merger will not stand and they need to be disqualified. As of now, this is in the Supreme Court. So the second major issue that we have in the anti-defection law is with respect to the merger of one political party to another. The third major loophole in the anti-defection law is with respect to the elections itself. Let me give you an example with respect to what happened in the state of Karnataka. You have the Congress and the JDS government. The Congress and the JDS government had come together. It was a coalition government. But there were few people within Congress and also from JDS as well who wanted to defect from this coalition to the BJP. So what do? They go about resigning, and immediately they resign and the speaker does not accept. It goes to the Supreme Court of India. Ultimately, this procedure of resignation had to be accepted. What is the major loophole here? When you look at the anti-defection law, you say that yes, these legislators can be disqualified, but these disqualified people can again contest the elections. Let's say this disqualification has happened immediately after 1 year of the conduction of the elections. They still have 4 years as well. So what you need to have is the by-election. So these people who are disqualified will again contest in the elections and they go on to win the elections, and in fact they also go on to become ministers as well. Ideally, instead of they getting disqualified and then contesting the elections, getting back to another political party for the remaining tenure, that should be nullified. But instead, what we need to have is disqualification for the entire tenure. It is not just for that elections, but instead for that entire period, they need to be disqualified. This is another loophole that we have in this anti-defection law. This happens to be the third major issue. The fourth is in respect to the speaker power. In Manipur, for instance, 7 Congress MLAs joined BJP shortly after the 2017 assembly elections, and one of them became a minister too. However, the speaker did not act on petitions to disqualify the minister for over 2 years. In January 2020, the Supreme Court directed the speaker to dispose of the matter within 4 weeks. As the speaker passed no order, the Supreme Court used its extraordinary powers to remove Sham Kumar Singh, who happened to be the minister concerned, from the cabinet and barred him from entering the assembly. Ideally, when we consider some of the constitutional positions like the speaker or the governor, they have to be non-partisan. One of the procedures that we have in the anti-defection law, if there is a person who has defected from one political party to another, then another member will appeal to the speaker and the speaker will have to be non-partisan. But in most of the cases, these speakers act like the mouthpiece of the political party they represent, and they are non-partisan, and ultimately they cannot be impartial, and this is another major loophole that is existing in the anti-defection law. There has been Supreme Court recommendation as well, where it has appealed to the parliament to bring changes, that it should not just be the speaker, it should be a body of people or a tribunal like situation where it is these who decide whether the person has to be disqualified or not. But in spite of the recommendation, the parliament has not taken up the initiative to get this recommendation amended and get it into a form of a law. These are the number of loopholes that we currently have in the system, and as a result, this very idea of anti-defection law has not worked, says this article. So going forward, we have to redefine the merger clause, where there are two interpretations to this merger, and add it to it. If this does not work, scrap this legislation, bring in a new legislation, and ensure all these loopholes are addressed, is what is this article all about. Now let's look into the next article. This article says Hasina opens Padma multi-purpose bridge. The article here is speaking about the Padma Setu or the Padma bridge that was inaugurated by the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, that is Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina ji. This Padma multi-purpose bridge is a multi-purpose road rail bridge across the Padma river, which happens to be the main tributary of Ganges in Bangladesh. Remember, this can be very important from the preliminary examination point of view. UPSC in the past has asked such questions. So remember, Padma happens to be the distributary of river Ganges. The main bridge, spanning about 6.15 kilometer, is the largest bridge in the country and the second largest in the Indo-Gangetic plain. This happens to be a multi-purpose bridge. It is used as a rail track operating at the first level, while used as a vehicular traffic at the second level. This Padma bridge is the biggest and most challenging infrastructure asset ever created in Bangladesh. What is the significance of this bridge? The bridge is expected to give an unprecedented boost to the communications, trade and the economy of Bangladesh as a whole. It will dramatically cut the road distance between Dhaka and cities to its west, such as Khulna, Chesore and Barisal. And do remember, when you consider Bangladesh, you have the eastern side which is comparatively developed, but you have the western side which is not comparatively developed to the east. This will help in connecting the west to the east, and there will be greater integration of the regional markets as well. But why are we discussing this? This is a bridge that is being constructed in Bangladesh. Why are we discussing with respect to the UPSC examination? That is because this will also help India in an indirect way as well. How? Once the railway line on the bridge is opened, Dhaka could come within 3.5 hours of Kolkata, potentially revolutionizing trade and communication with India. If further connected with Akura Agartala rail link, which is only 159 km from Padma Setu, it will also connect Bangladesh with India's northeast as well. As of now, if we have to export, we only have to export via the chicken neck. But if we are exporting via the chicken neck in West Bengal, this means the cost will become exorbitant. So what has India done? India in the past has been able to send all its exports from mainland India to the northeast part of India, making use of the seaport. So India uses the Kolkata port. From Kolkata port, it goes to Chittagong port, and from Chittagong, it goes to the northeast part of India. With this in picture, it will further help in expanding the trade with Bangladesh. So we would be able to export our products from mainland India to the northeast part of India, making use of the rail as well as the road bridge. So this will further help in sending all the products at an efficient level, and the cost of these exports from mainland India to the northeastern part of India will be comparatively less as well. These are some of the advantages, and that is why this bridge becomes important for India as well. Now let's look into the next article. This article says Sterlite plant sale could impact investor confidence in Tamil Nadu. Let us try and understand what is this article all about. We have Sterlite Copper, which happens to be an Indian copper producing unit of Vedanta Limited. This Vedanta Limited is a subsidiary of Vedanta Resources, which is a UK based mining and metals conglomerate. What exactly does this organization do? This Vedanta specializes in mining and refining those non-ferrous metals. For example, it can be copper, zinc and aluminium, and it is involved in mining copper in the Thoothukudi in the state of Tamil Nadu. In the past few years, we have seen repeated protests in the state of Tamil Nadu, especially in Thoothukudi. Why? That is because they believe that this particular organization, this industry, which is producing copper from this particular place, has also polluted in and around this place. They also wanted to increase the production of copper. Back then, it was about 4 lakh tons. They wanted to increase the production to about 8 lakh tons. And if they go about increasing the production to about 8 lakh tons, they will also release a lot of pollutants. This ultimately meant more pollution, groundwater pollution, air pollution, and it is the people in Thoothukudi who will be the major sufferers. So people started protesting against this pollutant release by this industry. What was the environmental impact? When we speak about environmental impact, we have the copper production, including mining, smelting and refining, which happens to be a hazardous industry that produces toxic byproducts like lead, arsenic and sulfur oxides. This was adversely impacting water. It was also polluting their soil. This was also disturbing the air quality in Thoothukudi as well, and this started expanding to number of kilometers as well. Added to it, in the year 2011, the Supreme Court ordered the National Environmental Engineering Research Institute to inspect the copper smelting plant in this particular area and also come up with a report as well. So this study found high levels of copper, lead, cadmium, fluoride in the groundwater in this area of Thoothukudi. So this Sterlite company contaminated the groundwater, air pollution, and there was soil pollution as well, and ultimately it violated all the standards of operation in that area. So on one side the groundwater was polluted, on the other side you had the fishing community as well, which was not able to fish in this area because large number of fishes even died. That is what people say, and because of which they started agitating. All this meant that this industry had to be shut. The government of Tamil Nadu did take up the initiative as well and asked for the temporary closure as there was a lot of pollution from this industry. 4 years after the Tamil Nadu government shut the Sterlite copper on the charges of pollution, following several legal battles, a unit of Vedanta Group announced in an advertisement last week the Thoothukudi plant is up for sale. Now the question that this article speaks about is whether this factory, whether this industry which is shut, temporarily shut by the government, should it be opened or not. Let us look at arguments that it should be opened. Let us also look at arguments which say it should not be opened, and we will also see what is the way forward. First, let us look at arguments which say that yes, this industry in Thoothukudi has to be opened. Why? Various industries and micro, small and medium enterprises that depend on the copper have raised concerns about the sale of the plant as it would further impact businesses in the state. If it is completely shut, what would happen? This industry, that is the copper industry which was present in the state of Tamil Nadu in Thoothukudi, it was acting as an ancillary industry. Because of this industry, it also led to multiple other industries opening up in Thoothukudi. Now that this particular institute, if this organization is completely shut, other industries will suffer. The MSMEs which are operating in Thoothukudi, they will also suffer because this industry was acting as a main hub and it was providing some of the goods to the MSME sector. After the closure of the plant, the prices of the raw materials have increased significantly in the region, which have impacted the industries in the region. What is the major issue? Since they are not able to get copper from Thoothukudi, what they have to do is get this copper from some other place, from some other district, from some other state as well. So this means that the prices of the raw material will also increase. The input cost for their own product will also increase. If it was in Thoothukudi, they would have got it at a cheaper price. But since they have to get it from some other district or from some other state, the input for these industries have also increased. The waiting time for raw material import has also increased significantly, which is forcing industries to invest more in the working capital. This also means since they have to get it from somewhere else, there is delay in the procurement. Since there is delay in the procurement, the ultimate product release will also delay as well. The closure of the plant forced various other industries and ancillary units to move out of Tamil Nadu to states like Telangana, as procuring raw materials from other states was not economically feasible. Just because they had to import, this did not work out for them. They had to leave the state of Tamil Nadu and move to some other states. So it is Tamil Nadu which is also getting impacted indirectly. The transport industry, which ensured income for many truck drivers and cleaners, was also severely affected due to the closure of the plant. Since these are the negative impact, if this industry is closed, this should not be closed, are some of the arguments in favor of reopening this factory in Thoothukudi. There's one set of arguments. The other set of arguments is that environmentalists who have been against the operation of the plant said that the move by the Vedanta group to sell the plant is a marketing gimmick and a strategy to get the national attention. They further regard the move as an attempt to hoodwink the people of Thoothukudi and blackmail the government, and the leaders of the anti-sterile protest movement point out that if a chemical industry wants to wind up its operation and decides to dismantle the unit, it should obtain permission from Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board, but Vedanta has issued this advertisement without following all these mandatory procedure. And at the same time, there have been people who have been protesting. These people feel that there is a lot of pollution that is released because of this industry. This has polluted their groundwater, polluted the air as well, and their soil has also lost its fertility. So this industry should not be allowed, are the other set of arguments. So what is the way forward? The way forward is that if this industry, which is the Sterlite copper, which happens to be a Vedanta company, if it is able to meet up to all the rules and regulations that have been established by the government as well as by the environmental boards, if it is able to keep up to all these standards, then it can open. This is one argument. Other argument is, yes, this industry should not open, and even if it is opening, the management has to be given to someone else so that that management is able to keep up to the environmental standards. And if there is change of management, that is when people will also start trusting this management as well. If it is the same company under the same management, people may not believe it. So it is better that they sell this company, give the management to new set of people, new industry steps in. They also make sure that all these environmental standards that are existing are met, so that going forward there is no environmental pollution in this area. It is this that we have to understand with respect to this article. Now let's look into the next article. This article here is speaking about Jyotirgamaya Festival. What is this festival all about? This Jyotirgamaya Festival is organized by the Sangeet Natak Academy. This article is purely from the preliminary examination point of view. Jyotirgamaya is a unique festival organized to showcase the talent of rare musical instruments from across the country, including street performers, trained entertainers attached to the temples. The festival aims to spread awareness about the need to protect the craft of making and the skill of playing these rare musical instruments, and to provide a platform to the unheard artists. What is this Jyotirgamaya festival all about? It has two important objectives. One is that we understand that India is a land of diversity. India has multiple musical instruments. These musical instruments are something unique to India. So how do we make these instruments? You learn that with this particular festival, and at the same time there are people who are unheard of. These people are not in any of the movie industry. These people are the just entertainers on the road. So if there are such people who are playing these rare musical instruments, they would be given a platform so that people would know who these people are. So there are two objectives. One, we understand these rare musical instruments, how they are manufactured, how they are made. On the other side, the people who are playing them, they also have to be recognized, is the objective of the Jyotirgamaya Festival. This is organized by the Sangeet Natak Academy, and this can also be important from the preliminary examination point of view. So Sangeet Natak Academy was established in 1953 with the objective of preserving and promoting vast intangible heritage of India's diverse culture expressed in the form of music, dance and drama. It is the apex body in the field of performing arts in the country. It is an autonomous body working under the aegis of Ministry of Culture. Remember, it comes under the Ministry of Culture. The chairman of the Sangeet Natak Academy is appointed by the President of India for a term of about 5 years, and the Sangeet Natak Academy Awards are the highest national recognition conferred to the artist. These are some of the important preliminary facts which you have to remember. Now let's look into the next article. This article says Udaipur's bird village to be declared wetland. This article once again is important from the preliminary examination point of view. Recognized as the bird village following community driven conservation efforts, Menar in Udaipur district is to be notified as Rajasthan's new wetland. So there will be a new wetland in addition to the existing wetlands in Rajasthan. Which are the existing wetlands? As of now, we have two wetlands recognized as Ramsar sites. One happened to be Keldio Gana in Bharatpur district. The other happens to be Sambar Lake in Jaipur. There are already existing ones. To the existing ones in the future, what we will also have is Menar in Udaipur district, which will also be added as a wetland under the Ramsar Convention. This happens to have two important lakes. These lakes have provided shelter to number of migratory birds, and there have been conservation efforts in the past where there have been patrolling, rescue of injured birds, reporting any attempts for the poaching, and since people have taken care of this area, this could in all likelihood come under the Ramsar Convention. So remember, as of now, we have two wetlands under the Ramsar Convention right now in Rajasthan. In all likelihood, we will have the third one in the future. Is what is this article all about? Now let's look into the mains practice questions. Anti-defection law has been rendered meaningless due to loopholes in the law. Explain the statement with relevant examples. Should the Sterlite copper plant in Thoothukudi be allowed to restart its operations? Critically analyze. Please write all your answers on the comment section. Peer review. Do give positive feedback to your friends' answers. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.